Welcome to SAUMA Podcast. I'm your host, Asanda, but I'm not alone. I'm joined by Tebogo, who is our guest for today. Hello, Tebogo. How are
Hello,
you?
Asanda. I'm good and yourself?
I'm also good. Can you tell us more about yourself?
Okay, like you said, my name is Tabukhole Tswalo. I was born in Polokwane but raised in Pretoria. I lived most of my life in Pretoria. I'm a mother of two beautiful kids, a teenager and a toddler. I'm the station manager at SAUMA Radio, and I'm also an entrepreneur. And also, I'm also a DJ. So, yes, I'm an all rounder.
Nice. You're a busy woman, hey?
Yep.
Okay, I have a few questions for you, ne? Can you share a bit about your childhood and how it has shaped who you are today?
Okay, I was born in Polokwane, like I said, but I only went, my mom went there when she was pregnant just to give birth to me. Then after a few months, we came back to Pretoria. That's where I grew up. In my early ages, the primary school ages, I grew up in a village called Madidi. That's where I started my school. Then I moved to Letlaville to proceed with my primary school. And now we are based in Erasmus with the same factory. That's where I grew up. My childhood was not an easy one because I was raised by a single parent. My mother was single, and most of my school years she was unemployed. So it was a very difficult childhood. I'm a product of a teenage pregnancy, so my grandparents are the one who like really took part in raising me together with my mom. So yeah, but I had a normal child. Would I was like any normal child growing up playing in the streets, Back then we didn't have phones to keep us busy. So I was the child, I was a very active child. I participated in school project, your debates and stuff. So I've always been that very active and talkative child. Yeah.
Nice. So, who were your biggest role model or a mentor growing up?
I would say my mother because she was a very strong woman. Having to raise two kids on your own without any support from the father. So I always looked up to my mother because she was a really hardworking, even though she was not hardworking, but she made sure that we had the minimum that we can get. So my mom has always been my role model for the strong woman that she was. Yeah, and otherwise, I grew up around my aunt and my uncles, my grandparents. So those are the people that I can really say those were my role models because of I saw their lives every day and how we survived with them, how the struggles that they faced. So I was there. So I would say those were my role models and my mentors.
Oh, nice. Okay, so what motivated you to pursue your career path?
Okay, my career path it started as I've always loved business. So I really started selling from a very young age. At school I would say I will sell sweets, Buddhizimba and stuff. So growing up, I studied accounting. So after school, I didn't go to school. I went to work in the casino industry. Then afterwards, I went back to school. I think I was 28 years old when I went back to the college. And then I pursued like a course in business management because I've been doing business the whole of my life. So I studied business management. In that, I couldn't find um, the internship immediately after finishing the course. So I stayed for a couple of months, a couple of years actually. And in that, I tried pushing some of my businesses. I used to sell clothes, I used to have a kitchen. I don't know. I don't think there's anything that I've never sold. I'm that girl who sold your
Yeah.
Tupperwares, your Avon, everything just to survive because I am a hustler. But what led me to be where I am today is I think it's because of um, I've I've had I've handled a lot of leadership roles as when I grew up from church, and I also think that because I grew up in a church, I'm a Catholic. I think that's what groomed me. Being God has always been my pillar. So, what grew me to be in the position that I am now, maybe it's because of the leadership skills that I have, and also because of I studied business management. Then that's how I got to be here. But after many years of struggle to get an opportunity where I'll be able to, should I say showcase, but where I'll be able to to do what I studied for, to do the job that I actually studied for. Because, it's not easy in South Africa. Once you turn 35, chances of you getting a job, it's really hard.
It's
But for
very
me, I would
hard.
say, I don't know if it was luck, but it took me years for me to get an opportunity. So when I got the chance to really do the job that I studied for, I grabbed it by both hands. Then I made sure, you know what, I don't really have enough time. So I really have to do my best to keep the job. So I think my hard work and resilience is what got me here today.
Here, you said you are a station manager now.
Yes.
So, what had been the best or proudest professional achievement so far?
Okay, being the station manager as it on its own, it's the big milestone for me, because I didn't really have a background of a radio. I only loved radio by just listening to it. But maybe by grace or the destiny, I saw myself working in a radio station. Before I know it, I was the station manager. So just being the station manager on its own, for me, is the biggest thing.
It's a achievement.
It's an achievement, yes.
Okay, nice. So, how did you overcome the setbacks and you keeping?
I think my character, I'm not one person to give up. So even if when I had setbacks, I would dust myself and get up. And also because I would never talk about myself and not include God, because I think He's always been the only person, or the higher power that I depend on in everything that I do. So I think even when I'm down, I know it's just a phase and it will pass. But I always manage to pick myself up. But also, I'm also surrounded by people who always encourage me. So I also have my keys that I cannot disappoint. So even if I feel like this is a lot, then I think of them or I look at them, then I know that they only have me. They depend on me. So I cannot. If I give up, then it means that I'm going to disappoint them. So yeah.
Okay. So, can you share a story of the time where you felt like giving up and how you pushed to go forward?
Yo, I had many, many, many incidents whereby I had to start over again. It was not an easy journey for me. Like I said, I would move out. I would move out, maybe get a job around Joburg. Then something will happen, then I will lose my job. Then I'll go back home. I had to start over many times in my life. I had to start over many, many times in my life, and it was not easy. I know they say that we shouldn't compare ourselves to others, but um, in my life journey, I've seen my peers, progress in front of me when most of my things were like really not going very well. But I managed to pick myself up, because also, unfortunately, my mom passed away when I was like 23. So I've always been a breadwinner. So giving up was not an option for me. So that's why I've always been selling.
You always try something
I
up.
always try something. I do not have an option of feeling sorry for myself. I have to pick myself up all the time. So that's why I'm not afraid of starting over. I'm not afraid of buying a bag of tomatoes and go to the street and sell. I
Because you know struggle.
Yes, I know struggle, and I've sold in the street, in the corners of street many times. I sold clothes, I sold jewelry, I sold cosmetics, I sold acha. I used to manufacture acha, and deliver it into the Pakistan shop. I used to sell food, so I've always sold just to survive. But I think in the when I was selling in the past, it was for survival. But I grew, like, I think the love of me selling grew from there. So then I cannot stop. I don't see myself not ever selling anything, because I am really, really scared of poverty, because I know how it tastes like. I know how
Taste.
it feels like. So
You've
I
been there.
can, yeah, I'm always worried about that. So yeah.
Okay. What are some of the most lessons you've learned in your life
What I've
through
learned
everything
is,
that you've went through?
okay, what I've learned is that no one owes you anything. The world doesn't owe you anything. So it's all up to you. The decision that you make today, it's about you. It's not about the next person. You know your struggles if you are struggling. So the biggest thing is no one owes you nothing. You owe everything to yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you stay resilient and maintain your positive outlook?
Okay, I'll go back to saying that God again, God and God, but also I really, or how I measure success and everything is, I think the sky's the limit. You cannot stop. You cannot say I'm content now. There's always more. So I'm always willing to learn. I'm always eager to grab any opportunity that comes my way. So yeah.
Oh, okay, Tebogo. So you seem to be a very busy woman. So how do you balance your work and your personal life?
Yeah, there are a lot of sacrifices that needs to be made. So my life revolves around my job. So I had to cut on some things like my social life is now compromised, but I'm happy because of the space that I'm at now. It's a media space, so really I enjoy doing my job, and also my social life also revolves around that. So for me, I would say that I'm also a single parent. It's not easy because I have kids, but with the support from my family, my aunt, and everyone, yeah, it's not easy, but I really try.
Okay. How do you want to be remembered?
So I want to remember as the Mbogoto who doesn't give up. I want to
Yeah.
remember. I want some young girls somewhere sitting there in the villages thinking that there's no hope. They know that nothing is impossible. So I want to be remembered as someone who was a go-getter, who never like really, um, you know, set back. Like I want to remember as a go-getter, just to put it there out there. Or you know what, um, you don't give up. You don't. You have to try and try again, even though when life throws lemons at you, just make lemonade.
Okay, thank you. I think we've done for today. Thank you, Tebogo.